Their message that says they know I'm close. I have to get the truth out before they stop me. Was there a message like that anywhere? Why was a special prosecutor killed? And who ordered the hit? Those are two questions that are on the minds of Trinidadians. I am going to pose a series of questions to you. Then you're going to have to sift those answers in your mind or figure out who should answer those questions. But before we get to that, they will always tell you, don't know your history, you're bound to repeat it in the present. Do you remember the woman on the screen? Do you remember her name? Do you remember when she died and what she was doing when she died? I'm talking about her job. Let's get to that first, and then we'll get to the special questions on the special prosecutor who died when he was leaving church with his wife and children. But let's get into this one first. Let's go back in history first. Trinidad attorney killed by international drug gang. And who told Trinidadians that? The U.S. U.S. Assistant Secretary of State William Brownfield said the assassination of a leading attorney in Trinidad and Tobago was orchestrated by a transnational drug organization, pointing to the presence of high-level organized crime on the island nation. So the U.S. had to come and tell Trinidadians, look, this leading attorney in Trinidad and Tobago was orchestrated by a transnational drug organization, pointing to the presence of high-level organized crime on the island. Speaking via telecom conference from Washington on June 24th, and this was since in 2014, Brownfield told Caribbean media that the assassination of the former special prosecutor, listen to what I'm saying here. Brownfield told Caribbean media that the assassination of the former special prosecutor, Dana Sital, was a well-planned and orchestrated hit by an international criminal organization with a presence in Trinidad and Tobago. So we're learning two things here. The U.S. had to tell Trinidad and Tobago it was assassination. I think we all know that it was assassination, but they had to come and tell the Trinidadians that. And the second thing we learned is that she was not only a leading attorney, but she was a former special prosecutor. But let's continue. I said if you don't know your history, you're bound to repeat it in the present. This was a carefully planned operation, said Brownfield, who was responsible for international narcotics and law enforcement affairs in the U.S. State Department at the time. And there's only one kind of entity that does contract murders of this sort of degree of sensitivity, and that is organized crime. Brownfield also pointed to the link between the increased use of the Caribbean region as a transit point for U.S.-bound drugs and a rise in murders and violence in the region, including Trinidad and Tobago. Setal, who had previously worked with U.S. authorities, was shot and killed in her car on May 4th, that's in 2014, in the country's capital of Port, Spain. No one has been charged with her murder, and that was at the time when this report came out. But of course, following that, a number of guys were charged. But what happened to her case? 10 years after her murder, the family is lamenting the slow pace of case, and the DPP still awaiting documents to move forward. There was a story in the Trinidad Express, Trinidad Guardian, which says 10 years after the murder of Dana Sital, Director of Public Prosecution Roger Gaspard said his office is still awaiting documents from the judiciary needed for the case to be set for trial. I think that was in May of this year. In the interim, the slain senior counsel's family and friends colleague believe the long wait for justice is a betrayal of a legacy. Now you're starting to see the picture unfolding. Remember, I said to you, if you don't know your history, you're bound to repeat it in the present. Now, the questions I have, and I'm going to ask you, one, was the special prosecutor digging into something much larger than anyone could have anticipated? I'm asking the question. Randall Warren Hector, special prosecutor. Was he digging into something much larger than anyone could have anticipated? Was it about to shake the very foundations of the political and corporate elites in Trinidad and Tobago? Was he about to uncover a deep web of corruption involving several powerful figures who could sway legislation and cover up illegal dealings? Was his investigation already causing several key individuals to panic? Was he gathering irrefutable evidence? And was their report to be released in February? Well, let's just say nothing happens by accident. And the last question, was there any message, phone message, email, anything, any kind of message that stated, they know I am close, I have to get the truth out before they stop me? Was there any message like that anywhere? Maybe email, WhatsApp, maybe a Facebook. Was there any message like that? Those are questions that Trinidadians will have to ask people who should know about this case, because this case will have to be investigated. But if we look at what happened to Dana Sital, and since she was killed in 2014, and I think it was May 4th in 2014, somewhere around there, if we look at what happened to her, and still the DPP is awaiting files to take this case forward, God only knows what will happen to Randall Hector's case. Trinidadians, you need to wake up. You need to wake up. You need to wake up. Those questions again I would ask. Was he digging into something much larger than anyone could have anticipated? Was it about to shake the very foundations of the political and corporate elites in Trinidad? Was he out about to uncover a deep web of corruption involving several powerful figures who could sway legislation and cover up illegal dealings? Was his investigation already causing several key individuals to panic? Was he gathering irrefutable evidence? And was there a report to be released in February? Was there any message? WhatsApp, email, Facebook, Twitter, who knows, Instagram, whatever. Was there a message that says, they know I'm close, I have to get the truth out before they stop me? Was there a message like that anywhere? Those are questions that you will have to ask those who probably may know. I don't know. I'm just saying. But there are a lot of more questions in his death than answers. And if we remember Dana Sital and how that is going and the length of time it's taken to get justice for her family, God only knows what will happen in Hector's case. I'm going to leave it there for today, Trinidad and Tobago. Remember to like, share, and subscribe.